Family, so what does hearing God's voice sound like? Is the question of the day. I could tell you what it don't sound like, or at least for me, what it didn't sound like. Now, I recorded this before, but I was talking for like 20 whole minutes because I had like a story that went along with it, but I'm gonna try and condense it down. So there was a time around, I want to say like mid 2025, maybe like June, July, probably May, sometime around there. It was a period in which I was fasting and praying, and my whole objective was to just hear God's voice. Now, up to this point, I had already did, a lot of fasts, or a period in which I would do fasts and whatnot. And but this time, I think this is the first time I did it with an objective. Now, spoiler alert, I didn't hear anything, or so I thought. Later on, I heard testimonies, be it in person or online, that God speaks to you in many ways. And at this time, I didn't know it. At this time of fasting, I did not know it. I was looking to hear him in stereo. Another thing I heard from, various testimonies is that if you're hearing him speak in stereo, like how I'm speaking to you, chances are he probably not too happy with you. But that's from what I heard. You might have had a different experience. I'm not going to refute that. In any case, I eventually learned the many ways in which you can hear God speak to you or respond to you or give you instruction. A few ways I've seen it is maybe there's a song stuck in my head, or I'm scrolling across something on my timeline and it's just speaking to me. That's one of, or a couple of the many ways. So again, I recorded this beforehand. It was like 20 minutes. I'm gonna condense it down. My last job, I ended up getting the contact information of this young lady, and we were going back and forth. We're both terrible at texting. So I wasn't tripping on the whole, getting back to me hours later or the day after. I wasn't tripping on that. So it's getting up to the point where I'm leaving my job. Again, we're still off and on with the communication. We see each other probably daily. We don't work in the same area. I work in a warehouse. She's on the line. I'm a maintenance guy going around everywhere. So I could be anywhere at any time. That being said, the vibes were there. It was there. Eventually I get to proposing, us meeting together or whatever. And I proposed her come to my house, and I was going to cook for her and show her everything I do with the edited videos and the making beats. And I got ghosted. That's cool. But eventually she reached back out to me and was like, she was just kind of just trying to start over. And she let me know that my proposal was she was just a little bit uncomfortable with that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I proposed going on pretty much like a gym to brunch morning date kind of thing. So we hit the gym in the morning time. I did what I did. She did what she did because she has no interest in benching 225 reps at all. But we get done with our workouts, and then we agreed to meet up at this brunch spot with some fire shrimp and grits. Listen, if you never had shrimp and grits in the South, you're missing out. In any case, like I said, the vibes was there, and increasingly so after this date, because I got to know her a little bit more. While I was at the gym, I was coming up with questions that I can ask her, not to be on some interview type shit, but just to, show her that I was intentional. I got what I needed. I still had some more questions, but I definitely was gonna have a time and place in which we can have those discussions. And that same day, bro, I prayed that prayer. And you know exactly which one I'm talking about. So I prayed that prayer, get done with the prayer, hop on the game, and as I'm waiting for it to boot up, I open up my TikTok, and literally the first video was a meme about how fast God answers that particular prayer of, am I supposed to be with this person or not? So I see that, and I'm like, bruh, it ain't no way. Now I gotta be honest, I did pray that prayer kind of thinking like, he ain't gonna take this one away from me, you know what I'm saying? All jokes aside though, this is one way in which he communicated with me, right? Not through speech, but through the things that I interact with on a near daily basis to tell me, yeah, bro, that's not your one, bro. And that's half the battle. The other half is you looking outward after a prayer to receive instruction or answer. Because that's where I fell short the first time around, is that he probably was talking to me, and I wasn't listening to him. I wasn't looking around. I was just giving it to him like, hot potato, you do the work. To continue on with the story, a couple weeks fly by. I was at this park where I go, where I go commune, where I go talk to God or read his word and, chop it up with him, so on and so forth. And after I get done reading, I get to talking with him again. This time around, amongst other things that I had going on that I just wanted to tell him about, I was telling him about how, my disappointment in the fact that I couldn't be with this young lady because I saw a lot of things in her that I saw in me. You got to get to a point where you just talk to God from a place of honesty, because he wants that from you, because he would definitely get back to you. And so I get back to the crib after, letting them know how I feel. And again, and one of the first videos I saw was this guy who was also a believer in Christ. He got with this young lady, but they quickly fell apart. What he said is that she had cold feet. She got cold feet, and I'm assuming it was because either she wasn't ready for a relationship, or she just wasn't ready for the type of things that being partnered with a God-fearing person might require. And so this again is something that's speaking to me in my situation, or rather this is something that I believe God was showing me, that either she wasn't ready for a relationship, or she wasn't ready for a relationship with someone who was God-fearing. And of course, that's no attack on her as a person. I'm just showing you guys the many ways in which he communicates. And so, getting off my soapbox here, I'm gonna end it out with this. There's a misconception that God doesn't answer prayers, or God doesn't talk to his people, or God doesn't talk to people in general. In my experience, we're just not gonna hot potato something to God and just not pay attention. We gotta pay attention to everything around us. We gotta pay attention to our thoughts, the things that other people are saying to us, the things that we're taking in, whether that be media, music, whatever it is. Alongside that, we got to pay attention to the kinds of thoughts we're having, because some thoughts are not our own. You might get a thought in your head that's just a little bit too profound for your everyday think. In that case, you can be almost certain that's God talking to you. Peace.